Hello, welcome to the Director's VBS Overview. My name is Lisa Session, and I am the Children's Ministry Leader at Shiloh Church, located here in Garland. And so we're going to get started. I have a question for you. Where's the furthest trip you've ever taken? I want you to drop it in the chat for me. So I want to see who has traveled the furthest. Having a successful VBS doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a lot of planning and intentional. We have to be intentional about what we're doing. The amount of work ahead of us, you can feel intimidated, but it's really just putting one foot in front of the other, taking one step at a time. The Administrator's Guide will help you every step of the way. Now, before we get started, I'd like to know who I am talking to. So if you are a new VBS director out there, I want you to chat, I want you to type in the word new. If you are a veteran VBS director, go ahead in that chat, type in veteran, because I like to know who I'm speaking to. And then the others that's joining us, they probably have some good information for you too from the veterans, and they can assist as well. As we head out on our VBS trip, we would be wise to plan the road ahead of us. First, let's review why we do VBS and what brings that energy to our churches. We know that VBS is fun. We know it's for our children, and it can also be a full family event for every age group at your church. There are 7 distinctives of Lifeway's VBS. That first one is gospel-centered. We know that every element from Bible study to crafts to music, recreation, is carefully crafted to create an intentional touch point with the gospel on each day of Vacation Bible School. Next, it's trustworthy content. All aspects of VBS are written, developed, and vetted by experts to ensure the content is theologically, educationally, and developmentally sound. Our next distinctive is in-depth Bible study. We do more than just tell an engaging Bible story to our children. We help bring the Bible to life. Small group activities are designed to teach kids how to apply God's word to everyday life. VBS is for all ages. There's age-specific curriculum from babies to adult. The stories are relevant. The terminology is age-appropriate. We also provide curriculum for our special needs children and adults. It's flexible and customizable. It's easy to follow. The teaching plans, they instill confidence and guide your leaders through a successful VBS. The 6th distinctive is it equips our parents. The goal for VBS is to impact families and equip parents to lead their children's spiritual development. It provides parents with the tools to continue that spiritual conversation at home. And the last distinctive is that the music is customized. Each year the songs are rebranded, they're new, they're written specifically for that day's story. And the kids learn the songs, they know them for the rest of their lives. And those are the 7 distinctives of a Lifeway VBS. So our VBS scripture this year is, "You will seek and find me when you search for me with all your heart." That's found in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 13. There is a bonus verse that you will be able to provide to your participants if you're looking for that daily Bible verse. Our VBS motto this year is seek truth and find Jesus. And you know, there's always terminology to go along with our VBS theme. So this year, VBS directors, you're going to be known as the curator. Our lead assistant teachers and our teachers are known as the archaeologists, and our children are our junior archaeologists. So step 1 was to know your purpose. Step 2, you want to start planning. Planning should begin 6 to 9 months in advance. So let's look at each step of the planning process. Step 2 begins on page 11 of the administrative guide. As you plan, you want to make sure you include prayer, set goals, delegate responsibilities, and keep your focus. So number 1, develop a plan. Your planning calendar is located on pages 12 and 13 of the administrative guide. So it's very important that you get your administrative guide. The first thing you'll notice in the administrative guide, it tells you to set up a prayer team. The prayer team is going to be very important to your VBS. They can develop, you want to develop prayer strategies for before, during, and after VBS. A list of prayer team have a dedicated prayer space. So every evening or morning, whenever your VBS is, you want to set aside time to meet with your team to pray before VBS actually begins. And then have a designated day of prayer. This year's National Day of Prayer for VBS is May 16th, 2021. Your prayer calendar is located on page 56 of your administrative guide. It would be a good idea if you're able to print and share the prayer calendar with your VBS staff as well as with your parents and your church members, because it's going to outline specific things to pray for each and every day leading up to your vacation Bible school. So we develop a plan. Now it's time to set a budget. You want to determine your budget, base it off of last year's budget. So if you're a new VBS director, find out from the previous year's VBS director, what was the budget? Did they even spend all the budget? Or did they have funds left over? Was it not enough? And seeing that last year we had the pandemic, I'm sure everyone's budget looked a little bit different. And so if you are planning to have face-to-face vacation Bible school, you may need to increase that budget because it's going to require a little bit more since you're face-to-face. You want to divide the budget into 3 categories. So before VBS, what do those expenses look like? So before VBS, you're spending it on training, you're buying curriculum, you're looking at the community, how to promote your vacation Bible school. During VBS, your budget would include curriculum, crafts, recreation, classroom supplies, most importantly, snacks that have to be included in the budget. And then after VBS, sometimes we don't think we need to spend money after VBS, but we do. So after VBS, you want to include how are you going to continue that connection with your families that attended. And then you probably want to consider what type of appreciation gift If you provide those to your workers, you want to make sure you include that in your budget for after VBS. Some ways that you can stretch your budget is you can ask for donations from your church family, or you can partner with another church. Maybe their VBS happens before yours. Y'all can swap out. They can share their curriculum with you, any decorations they may have, or you can contact your local association. They may have some items for that you can borrow for that week, and then you can return it. So those are some ways that you can stretch that VBS budget, whether you have a big budget, a small budget, or maybe you don't have a budget at all and you have to make everything. But what if you did? You still want to write down how much that would probably cost. Now, in the administrative guide, you are provided on pages 14 and 15 a template to help you plan, write out your VBS budget. So those pages again are pages 14 and 15 in the administrative guide. Number 3, choose a format. So you can use a variety of formats for your VBS. So on page 16 of the administrative guide, it gives you options for your format. Whether you are offering VBS for preschool age children, which includes your babies, 1 and 2 year olds, your pre-K, 4, your kindergarten, or your children, which are your elementary age students, so grades 1 through 4. And then we have our preteens, which are grades 5 and 6. Some churches stop at that age group, but then there are some churches who offer VBS for their students as well as adults. And then there's a special needs age group as well, or group, not particularly age group, but the special needs group. So depending on who you're offering VBS to, there is curriculum for all those grades and ages, and there's a format to address all of those groups. You also want to consider if you're going to offer rotations and which rotations you want to offer. So for your rotations, you want to have a schedule for that. You're going to need a leader to lead those different rotations. You want to determine, are you going to have a self-contained classroom? So what that looks like is all the kids stay in the classroom and the rotation leaders move around to each one of those classes. So that's an option. Or you can have it set up to where the kids are in the room and then you as the teacher take them to that rotation for the day. So that's something you need to consider, new VBS directors. What type of format is going to work best for your church? The Bible study rotation, I actually just described that, where the kids stay in the classroom and then you take them to the rotation site, okay? And then VBX. Are you going to offer rotations for your preteens? And we know, at least I know, they think they're too big for rotations, but they're not. They like crafts, they like recreation, they like music. So make sure to incorporate a rotation for them too. And then choose what time of day are you going to offer your Vacation Bible School. Are you going to offer it 5 days a week, 3 days a week, once a week, a weekend VBS? That's one of the things about this VBS is that you can customize it to fit your church's needs. You can have a 3-day VBS, a 1-day VBS. You have all of those options in your administrative guide. And then what time of day? You may have it in the morning. Some churches, like my church, we have ours in the evening because a lot of our church members work during the day, so they wouldn't be able to get their kids there. So we offer an evening VBS, 3 days a week, and that works great for us because by the third day we're all exhausted anyway. So Figure out what works best for your church. There are sample schedules in your administrative guide to help you with that. Now, veteran directors, drop in the chat what type of VBS you have. Do you have 5 days, 3 days? Do you have it once a week? Do you have it in the morning? Do you have it in the evening? Put it in the chat for us so our new directors can have some type of idea of where to start with their VBS. Number 4, set your schedule. On pages 17 through 23, you have sample schedules. And so the schedule, you want to make sure you factor in your worship rally. How much time do you need for your worship rally? How much time do you need for Bible study? Bible study is going to be the most important time of your VBS. So make sure you carve out enough time. At my church, Bible study is 45 minutes, and we work everything else around that. So figure out the time for your Bible study, how much time you want them in the rotations, which includes arts and crafts, music, recreation, snacks, missions. You may or may not be able to provide all of the rotations. So that's why your schedule is very important. For my church, we don't offer all of them. We try to, but we incorporate music into the worship rally, so everyone can participate in the music. We alternate on the other rotations because that's how our schedule works for us. So again, customize it to meet the needs of your church. Number 5, you want to order your curriculum, okay? Like I said earlier, there's curriculum for all age groups. And you see here I have my 2 kits. And I always like to open the kits because it's like Christmas and I always want to see what's inside. So I'm going to show you what's inside of each kit. You can either order the kits or you can order each packet individually depending on what is needed at your church. So first we have our preschool starter kit. And I will tell you this, each starter kit have 3 grade levels inside. So if you order a kit, you're going to have 1 liter pack for each group that you have at your church. So for the preschool starter kit, inside you're going to get a sample of the crafts. You will also have the kindergarten leader pack. And again, the leader pack is going to have the leader guide for your teacher, all of the posters that he or she may need, everything they need to teach a kindergarten Bible study. Then you'll have the 3s to pre-K leader pack. And something I noticed when I was looking at this is they have these like cool names for your teacher. So this particular pack says, give this pack to your fantastic 3s to pre-K teacher. I think that's pretty cool. And then the last pack in the preschool kit says, give this pack to your amazing babies to 2. So again, the leader pack is going to have everything that your teacher needs to teach that course, that class. And there's also a separate rotation pack for your 3s to kindergarten group, okay? So that is the preschool kit. Now I'm going to show you what's in the children's kit. And this is actually called, the kids starter kit for grades 1 through 6. So everything your 1st through 6th grade teachers will need will be in this particular box. You can also use these boxes for decoration. That's one less thing you gotta buy. All right, so we have our VBX preteen from phenomenal VBS ex-preteen teacher. We have our marvelous first and second grade teacher leader pack. And then we have our fabulous third and fourth grade leader pack. Okay, so everything that they need is inside of the leader pack. Now, you will get some extra items inside of this particular box. And so those extra items include a sample of each craft, the missions leader guide, the music leader guide with the DVD inside, and the craft rotation leader guide. I think those are very important for the leaders of those particular rotations. You're also going to get the recreation leader cards and the snack cards for your snack leaders. So this is a good buy. Instead of buying each one of those books and leader books and cards separate, it all comes in this one box for you. Okay. Now, if you're offering a student VBS, this is the leader pack for your student leader. So the student guide as well as the leader books in here. There's also posters in here. So everything they need is there. And if you're a church that offers adult VBS, there's a leader pack for the adults as well. And they get the same thing. There's posters, there's the leader book, as well as a student guide. For those churches who offer a special needs VBS, there is a leader book for the special needs, but there's not like a packet. You would use the same packet for special needs that you would for your regular VBS classes. All right. So that's your curriculum. There are options located on pages 24 to 30 in your leader's guide that's going to help you look at all of the curriculum options you have. So make sure you check those pages out. Okay. So we've looked at our purpose. We've started planning. And so now step 3, it's time for us to enlist and train our leaders. Because guess what? VBS director, new and old, we can't do it by ourselves. We need some help. So with that, on pages 31 to 32, this is going to help provide you information with how to train your staff and how to enlist volunteers. So you want to first pray. You want to pray and ask God to send you people who have the heart for children and to serve. And so it's been my experience that I get volunteers who like to volunteer every year. They're very honest and upfront with me, and they tell me, Sister Session, I will do anything but work directly with the kids. And that's important to know, because I don't want to put them in a Bible study classroom if children aren't their strength. But I can put them on the parking lot to help secure the surroundings. So there's a job for everybody. So pray and be specific about who it is that you want the Lord to send to help you with VBS. Plan. We just talked about planning. So begin that planning at least 6 to 9 months in advance. Share. Explain to your volunteers the qualifications or the expectations that you have for your volunteers. That's going to be very important when you're training. What time you need them to be there, what the expectations are before everyone leaves for the day. If your church has specific guidelines for your volunteers. This is the time to share that information with your volunteers, okay? Then you want to ask. It's good to put it in the church's announcements, put it on your social media, but sometimes it's okay to approach them and ask them directly, especially if you, like me, I kind of seek out in the church to see who I haven't really seen been active. They just kind of come and listen and then they leave. And so, I start praying specifically about that particular person. And so when I approach them, because I've prayed about it, I can talk to them and I can invite them and let them know how much I would love for them to join my VBS team. So it's still good to have that personal touch, thinking of COVID, not like touch them, but you know what I'm saying. Approach them and ask them specifically if they wouldn't mind joining your VBS team. And then train. Remember when we was talking about budget and I shared doing, before VBS, you have to plan for training. So this is where that funding come in. Training is very important. Your church is training, your association provides training. Lifeway itself also provides training for this curriculum. And you can be very creative. If everyone can't come sit in to the training, you can record the training and make sure they give them a deadline to watch it. And that way they're still getting the same information that is needed for a successful VBS. And then show appreciation. Everyone likes to know that they have one, done a good job, and two, that they feel appreciative of the work that they've done. So whether it's during or maybe you have something at the end of your Vacation Bible School, you have a big celebration, it's going to be important to show that appreciation for your leaders and your volunteers. Continuing with training, on pages 33 through 40 in our administrative guide, they're going to provide for us Bible content and overview training. So it's specific to what it is that you need to do to prepare your staff for training. Also, if you haven't signed up for the Directors Club, it's free on the Lifeway website. They provide for you PowerPoint presentations that's already done. All you have to do is download it and share it with your staff. And so they've done a great job making sure that we as directors are prepared for Vacation Bible School. That's the directorsclub.com. It's free. All you have to do is put in your email address, set up a username and password, and you have access to a lot of resources to help prepare you. Other ways that you can provide your training via Zoom, which we're all zoomed out, but hey, you can use Zoom. You can use Google Meets, you can use Teams, you can use Facebook Live, you can use YouTube, all kind of resources and social media that you can use to get your training out. Step 4, it's time to promote and publicize our VBS. So some promotion strategies for within the church body. You can, of course, use your church's announcements. You can have printed material. You can use video. I've seen churches make commercials for their VBS. I think that's pretty cool if you have access to that. You can also ask your pastor to announce it over the pulpit, or you can perform skits. I've seen churches do skits as well to help promote Vacation Bible School. Within the community, postcards and flyers, it's important. We do registration for VBS, right? And we're getting everyone's information, their addresses or their email addresses. Now's the time to pull out those records, because you can mail them postcards to remind them or make them aware that it's now time for VBS, okay? Flyers. You can also empower your children at your church. Give them some flyers, have them invite their friends, their family members, other church members can get flyers and take them home and share them with members of their community to invite them to your Vacation Bible School. And that's free. All you got to do is print it. And the word of mouth is great. That's one less thing you got to pay for. All right, let's keep going. Step 5, registration. So we have promoted VBS and they're coming. So now it's time to get them signed up. How are we going to do that? We're going to do pre-registration first. And so in our pre-registration efforts, we want to, you can either print a hard copy of the registration form, or you can put, a lot of churches may use some type of electronic form, whether it's onto your, added to your church's website, or maybe you created a Google form, or maybe you have some other type of electronic means to capture pre-registration. Lifeway also has a system they use called Kid Event Pro that is a paid program, but it keeps your church's information year after year. And so you can pull up the family's name, sign them up, and then there you go. You want to send registration information home in advance so you can get your families registered. You can go through your Bible study groups or your children's classes or Sunday school classes. Since they're already there, start out by making sure they are registered. Registration, well, let me start. Drop in the chat. This is a true or false. Does registration stop once VBS begins? I'm going to repeat that. True or false? Does registration stops once VBS begins? That's false. Registration continues every night of Vacation Bible School, because it could be that last day of VBS and you have a visitor attending and they can make a decision to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior on the last day of your VBS. So would that have happened had you not provided registration? Maybe, but probably not. So make sure someone is available to register your members and your guests every night of Vacation Bible School. Okay. Step 6, you want to continue that connection after VBS. You want to continue that family connection, the community connection. Make sure you have, talk about a VBS celebration and your prayer strategies. So it's important to provide ways to continue to engage those who attended VBS. And a great way to do this is to have a designated follow-up team. So this is another group you want to form. Now, their work necessarily doesn't happen during the week of VBS, but their work happens after VBS, okay? And so that team is going to, actually, let me back up. On pages 50 to 51 in your administrative guide, yes, it's going to provide you with ways to continue that connection after Vacation Bible School, okay? So you want, through your family connection, you want to make sure that your families continue to stay engaged in what's going on at the church. So as other ministry opportunities happen, you're sending out that communication, inviting them out. These are things after VBS, invite them out to your fall festival, invite them out to Christmas programs or Easter whatever it is that your church is having. You want to keep that communication out there in front of them. Same with the community. If you do door hangers with your information, shooting out information through email, inviting them, letting them know they're welcome to attend any of the activities that your church is having. And then towards the end of the week or the last day of VBS, a lot of churches have a celebration to celebrate. Children are put on display to share everything that they have learned during the week. And so this is another opportunity to engage your church members as well as your community. So lastly, I want to share with you 4 VBS strategies. Now, this is something that Lifeway shared with us last year through the pandemic. Depending on where you are, you may still not be at the church. You may still have online church. And so you're probably still trying to figure out how your VBS, what it would look like. So one of the strategies they talk about in the 4 VBS strategies, this is another free tool on the Directors Club. It's just your traditional VBS, what I just walked you through. So nothing would change. But what if you have to make some changes? There's a neighborhood VBS that they talk about. And in the neighborhood VBS, you're recruiting families to host VBS, maybe in their homes or maybe in their driveways. And so you would set up a time for them to come and pick up the materials that they would need to host that VBS in their neighborhood. They can determine the schedule. You can give them the curriculum. Maybe they can do one rotation, and then they're able to do that in their neighborhood for the kids. The alternative VBS is another strategy that they share with us, and you are taking a look at how to alternate the schedules, the events, and having a small group. And so you may have to combine some of the rotations. You may have to look at a good time for me to mention the multi-age curriculum, which is something new from last year that you can use. So with that, it covers a variety of age groups. And so that may be an option for this alternative VBS. The third strategy is VBS at home. And so VBS at home. And so you want to utilize the team. So your prayer team, your promotion team, Bible study leaders, rotation leaders. And so what they would do is each child will receive an individualized bag. And all of their materials are going to be in the bag that they're going to need for that week's VBS. And so each of the teams will deliver that to the homes, and then the parents would have VBS with their children in the home. They're able to set that schedule. They can have it any time of day with their family. So with that, I've covered a lot of information, directors. And the good thing is you will have access to my slide deck. So you can listen to it and practice and prepare for your VBS. But just in closing, I want to just review with you the 6 steps for planning your vacation Bible school. Step 1, you want to know your purpose and theme. Step 2, start planning now if you hadn't done so already. Step 3, enlist and train your volunteers. Step 4, promote and publicize. Step 5, register your participants. And step 6, you want to continue the connection. So I hope that you have learned something new today. And just because the teacher in me always like to know if my students have been listening. So drop in the chat one last time, one thing that you have learned from today's Director's Overview. Again, my name is Lisa Session, and I am the Children's Ministry Leader at Shiloh Church, located in Garland, Texas. And I want to thank you for joining me today. Good luck to you. I'm praying for your vacation Bible school, and may God bless you.